When the Ice Speaks, a true Viking epic, the birth of a seaborne storm. The Viking Age did not erupt from nowhere. It was born from the fjords of Norway, the dense forests of Sweden, and the icy plains of Denmark. These lands were harsh short summers, rocky soil, and little arable farmland. The people who lived there were tough, self-reliant, and skilled in sailing the unforgiving seas. By the mid-8th century, advances in shipbuilding, specifically the clinker-built longship with a shallow draft and single square sail, enabled them to navigate rivers and open oceans alike. The first known attack, on June 8, 793, shattered the peace of Lindisfarne, a monastic island in Northumbria. Monks were slaughtered, sacred relics stolen, and a beacon of Christian learning was desecrated. This was not just a raid, it was a cultural earthquake. The chronicles of Alcuin of York captured the horror. Never before has such terror appeared in Britain, but Lindisfarne was only the beginning. Rivers of fire and silver. Within decades, Viking raids became more than isolated events. By 794, they had assaulted Iona, another monastic center, and were active along the coasts of Ireland and Scotland. Their longships, powered by both oars and sail, allowed them to penetrate inland via rivers. They struck at the heart of kingdoms, places like Rouen, Hamburg, and Parisoften, faster than news of their arrival could spread. By the 830s, they established long forts, temporary then permanent base in Ireland. Cities like Dublin, Waterford, and Limerick grew from these Viking encampments. These weren't just raiders, they were settlers, traders, and political actors. Raiding became a strategy, not savagery. They targeted monasteries not because they hated Christianity, but because monasteries were rich, unguarded, and full of silver, gold, and slaves. Viking society valued wealth gained through feats of strength and daring. Warriors returned home not just with loot, but with honor. Kingdoms in the making. By the mid-9th century, Viking ambitions turned toward conquest. In 865, the Great Heathen Army landed in England. This was not a raiding party, it was a coordinated force led by legendary figures such as Ivar the Boneless and Halfdan Ragnarsson, sons of the semi-legendary Ragnar Lothbrok. They marched across Anglo-Saxon England, capturing the ancient city of York, Jorvik, in 866, and executing its 2 kings. What followed was the gradual disintegration of Anglo-Saxon independence. By 878, following defeats and truces, like the Battle of Edington, the Treaty of Wedmore established the Danelaw region in eastern and northern England under Norse control. In these areas, Norse language, law, and customs blended with Anglo-Saxon ones. Place names ending in by, Thorpe, and Toft testify to their influence. Grimsby, Derby, Scunthorpe. From plunderers to kings, the Vikings were not mindless barbarians, they were adaptable. Their reach expanded far beyond England. In 872, the Battle of Hashfjord united Norway under King Harald Fairhair, beginning the move from clan-based rule to monarchy. In 911, Rollo, a Norse warlord, was granted land in northern France by Charles the Simple in exchange for peace and conversion. This region became Normandy, land of the Northmen, and its rulers, the Normans, would later change history forever. In the east, Swedish Vikings, known as Varangians, established control over trade routes through the Baltic and Russian river systems. Around 862, the Varangian chieftain Rurik founded Novgorod, and his descendants established the Kievan Rus kingdom, a precursor to modern Russia and Ukraine. By the 9th century, these Eastern Vikings were trading with and raiding Constantinople, the heart of the Byzantine Empire. They brought furs, slaves, amber, and honey. In return, they received silk, wine, and silver. Some stayed, serving as elite warriors in the Varangian Guard, bodyguards to the Byzantine emperors. Lands at the edge of the world. The Vikings were perhaps the most daring explorers of the early medieval world. In 845, Ragnar, or his successors, sacked Paris, sailing up the Seine River. To stop them, King Charles the Bald paid a massive ransom of 70 livres of silver. In 982, Eric the Red, exiled from Iceland, founded a Norse colony in Greenland. His son Leif Erikson sailed further west. Around 1000, Leif reached Vinland, likely located in Newfoundland, Canada, establishing a short-lived settlement at L'Anse aux Meadows 500 years before Columbus. These explorers crossed the Atlantic in open boats, navigating by sunstones, stars, and sheer instinct. They established contact between Europe and North America centuries before it would become common. Viking rule in Europe. The Viking transition from raiders to rulers reached its peak in the 11th century. In 1013, Sweyn Forkbeard of Denmark conquered England. His son Canute the Great ruled over the North Sea Empyrean interconnected realm, spanning England, Denmark, Norway, and parts of Sweden. This was a time of administrative reform, coinage standardization, and diplomacy. Canute was a Christian king, yet a son of Viking tradition. In the east, the Varangian Guard wielded enormous influence in Constantinople. Their axe-wielding warriors stood watch in the Hagia Sophia and on the palace steps, earning reputation as fearless and incorruptible. The end of an age. Several forces converged to end the Viking Age. In 1030, Olaf II of Norway died in battle but was later canonized. His sainthood and influence helped convert Norway to Christianity, turning Norse society inward. In 1066, Harald Hardrada, last great Viking warrior king, invaded England. He was defeated at Stamford Bridge by Harold Godwinson just weeks before William the Conqueror, descendant of Rollo, crossed the Channel and won the Battle of Hastings. After that, Norse raids dwindled. The Scandinavian kingdoms, now Christian, centralized and monarchic, looked toward politics and trade, not plunder. The lasting legacy. Though the Viking Age ended, its echoes remain. Shipbuilding. The Viking longship influenced medieval naval architecture. Its design allowed for amphibious assaults centuries ahead of its time. Governance. Iceland's Althing, founded around 930, remains the oldest surviving parliament in the world. Language and law. Norse words entered English. Sky, egg, knife, law, husband. Legal concepts like trial by jury, and even early ideas of assembly and representation were shaped by Viking customs. Place names. From Normandy to Dublin, York, and Novgorod, Viking settlers reshaped the maps of Europe. Origins and aftermath. Why did the Viking Age begin? Technological innovation. The clinker-built ship was revolutionary, strong, flexible, and fast. It allowed for river navigation and oceanic travel. Social pressure. The Norse world was fragmented. Younger sons had little land and looked outward for fortune. Economic opportunities. As trade grew in cities like Birka, Hedeby, and Dorestad, wealth tempted them. Political weakness in Europe. Fragmented kingdoms and unguarded monasteries made easy targets. Why did it end? Rise of stronger kingdoms. England, France, and the Holy Roman Empire built fortifications, navies, and armies. Christianization. Vikings converted, and their pagan values gave way to monarchical rule and religious conformity. Integration. Vikings didn't vanish, they became Normans, Rus, kings, and traders. Their descendants ruled kingdoms and founded nations. The ice still speaks. From the fjords of Norway to the forests of Russia, from Vinland to Constantinople, the Vikings left behind more than ruins and legends. They built cities, crossed oceans, forged alliances, and brought down kingdoms. Their legacy is etched not only in blood and stone, but in law, language, and the very shape of the modern world. The Viking Age was not a time of mere chaos. It was a transformation, a cold wind that blew through medieval Europe and reshaped it forever. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated. See you next time!